So, before we see how we can add new weapons to the new weapon system, we need to know what job exactly does the resources manager and how we categorize stuff in here. So basically what the resources manager is it has the lists for everything we might need at any time in the game, and we do not want to have multiple instances of the same stuff, especially if it's for prefabs, stuff like that. Okay, we need to have something that holds everything, and when we want to take something, we can access it from there. This is very optimized, so even if you have 200 objects, when you are looking through the list with the function we are going to see, of course, okay, it's super fast because we turn all the list, we turn them into dictionaries, and yeah, so that's why dictionaries were created, of course, so that you can iterate faster through the list, so you do not have to search 200 items just to find one. Okay, so as you can imagine, you can throw a lot of stuff at them and you won't see any problems with performance. Now, we have 3 lists currently, and we have our character prefabs, our weapon prefabs, and item prefabs. Item are mostly cosmetic stuff, and in this case it only has to do with the magazines we have when we are reloading the weapon, and the magazines that are on the hand of the model. Okay, the magazines that we throw away, okay, of course this is also cosmetic, is on the object pool, because these are actual game objects, and we need to have multiple instances of them, because you might have 5 people that reloading the same at the same time. This, we only create them once and open and close them when we need them. Apart from this, we have our weapons and we have our character prefabs. So, for instance, a character, we have the model prefab, and this can be the model that has the ragdolls and stuff like that on it. And we also have the character ID and the rig ID. You can have characters with the same name, and yeah, it's best that you don't though. But if they have the different rig ID, then it will be okay. However, just play it safe and do not have characters with the same ID. Okay, and here's what you need to know about the rig ID, because models, in our case this model with the model that is included in the package, which is the Boxman. Okay, they do not have the same rig. So in a sense, if you look into one of these bones, you can see that it has a different position, different rotation, scale, stuff like that, than if we go, I think this might actually have sort of the same. Yeah, this is because this character is ripped from this character, they have somewhat the same rig, but you will still notice that there's a few differences. So let's add another character, and I want him. Okay, this is a completely different character, and if you go to his other spine, you can see that rotation, position, and all stuff are different. All the stuff are different from these two guys. Okay, so what this means, if you create a weapon, place it on the hands of these guys, then when you're trying to place it on these guys, everything you have stored on that model, it will not work for this model. Okay, and because there is there's different scales, the different rotation for the hands, so as you can imagine, it gets a little bit trickier. So what we need to know when we are saving a weapon is what we need to place. We need to know the rig type. So we need to know, we need to have a way of how we can categorize the weapons. For example, for what rig it is. So we can have multiple entries on our weapon prefabs list. So we have the same weapon ID, but they have the second rig type. So when you are selecting a character that has a different rig, okay, so depending on what character you select, you're going to go and the system will automatically go and find the correct prefab, which has the correct value saved, and of course it's going to look correct, and nobody will even be able to notice. Okay, now obviously you should just keep all your models that have the same rig. Okay, this will never change, and of course, because this might be a little bit hard, unless you have a team of animators and modelers that will have the same, that they will work under a leader that says and enforces, and most importantly, enforces all your models to have the same rig, then we have to come out with something that will work in cases like this. Okay, it's an extreme case. You should, as I said, keep all your models that have the same rig. There is a lot of ways for that, but because this is a system, okay, I just need to make this so that it will work with everybody that's going to go and get the project or try to follow it. Okay, and without having to worry too much about creating his models. Now we have our characters, okay, we have our weapons, we've seen what we need to do with the resource manager. So we're going to go into scenes, utilities, and we're going to go to the weapon creator. You can see that there's already 2 models placed, and let's try the other character. So we do not delete anything in here, we'll just leave this as it is. We're going to select weapon creator, and we're going to place first the thing, of course, we need to do, and this you will only have to do it once when you start a game. Of course, if you have the same rig, then you only have to do it once. If you have multiple rigs, then you have to do it twice, or for as many rigs you have to do, of course. We need to place first, create the model. So we're going to go on the character model. We have the boxman. Let's place the gorilla or whatever. Okay, if you want to have ragdolls, stuff like that on your model, or if you want to add something else or clean them up, okay, you can drop them in here, add the ragdoll, make this a prefab, and assign the prefab in here. Although for the weapon creator, since you're not going to hit play with this, okay, it doesn't matter, you can just keep this on the model. So for example, we have our gorilla, and I'm going to click place models. You can see that it deleted the previous weapon, the previous models, but it still haven't updated yet. This happens because the editor updates, it doesn't update every frame because supposedly there is no need to update. To fix that, you can just move an object, and you can see that they take the positions which we force them from the weapon creator. Okay, we force the animation to play like that from the script. Now, because we've changed the model, so that means we kind of need to reset the IKs and all stuff like that, we're going to go and click create main IK first. And of course we're going to ignore this. I'm going to fix that, and you can see that it places the hands, and right now I can move the IK and his hand is going to follow that. For now, let's ignore this guy. Okay, we first set this one up and then go and set this one. Now we need to create the actual weapon. We have a weapon instance over here with an instance class which calls our weapons class, and everything that is inside weapon stats, and even this, and pretty much everything we have over here, it can be tweaked after we have saved the weapon, so we do not have to worry about anything over here. And especially for positions like this don't even need to be public. You can just hide them from the inspector. This all update automatically. Right now it just have saved what we had from what I had from the previous model, so ignore this. Now, weapon ID, although we can change it later, but let's just keep it. And model prefab is your actual model that is going to create it for the actual model for the weapon. Basically, if it has a holster, it's going to check if you want to have a holster model when you are not equipped with the weapon. Okay, if you have ticked this and you do not have anything on the holster prefab, it's going to take the main model and take that as the holster. And when you are holstering, it's going to take the main weapon and put it on the holster. Otherwise, it's going to create the holster prefab for you. And the holster bone is on what bone it's going to parent the holster. Okay, let's just leave this to left upper leg. And we're going to take everything as the main hand will always be the right hand and the off hand will always be the left hand. Okay, and the main shoulder will always be, or our aiming shoulder, at least when we are aiming, or when we are setting up the weapon, will always be the right shoulder. We do this because if we want to make something that switches the weapons to left and right shoulder, we can simply reverse any value we have over here and it will work just fine for the left shoulder. So you have weapon ID, model prefab over here, and I'm going to click init weapon. You can see that it takes the prefab from here and it creates the weapon, and where it actually places it is inside your newly created model. There is a right hand helper, and inside the right hand helper is the right hand helper will always be 000 in on the actual position of the hand bone. Okay, so basically the right hand helper will always follow the right hand. Okay, so it will always be dead on the right hand. It doesn't right now because it's not parented under the right hand, it's parented under the actual model. And that is for the, so that it's easier to fix on the editor, so you do not have to search inside the whole model. But if we move the IK, you can see that the weapon will also follow. Let's rotate the hand. Let's place the weapon to the correct position. Okay, you can scale it, you can rotate it, it doesn't matter. We save everything and then we go and recreate it. Now I'm not going to be very diligent with that, or diligent. Okay, I'm just going to place it over here. Something like this or whatever. Okay, of course with the animation the finger is not exactly correct, but you can add another animation over here. So I have my weapon set and I'm going to go and select my IK handler, and what I need to place this is my muzzle rifle, or this in my case, this thing, not the right hand. I want the whole thing to just follow the barrel of the gun, to just be somewhat the same with the red dot. Okay, if it isn't, then simply go over here, go to orthographic mode. Okay, let's go a little bit back, rotate it. You kind of want this to be a little dead on. Okay, it doesn't so that it looks correct, so that it looks like that your character is shooting towards where you are aiming. Okay, from script we do things a little bit differently. So let's take this and let's put this. This is the bullet spawner, and this is where we start a raycast from, towards where the camera is looking to see where we are shooting. Now, since this is on the correct position, I'm going to bring the rifle a little bit back. Over here, it doesn't matter that it goes through his head, you will see why. Okay, and we are at this position. Now what this red line is our aim guide. And the aim guide is basically where we rotate our weapon from, or the pivot of the weapon. So in a case of a weapon like this, like a rifle, okay, that means it should be around over here. If you change the rotation, it's not going to let you. It's always inside the weapon creator scene, it's hard-coded to always look forward. Okay, we have, let's say this is good enough. This over here is more of cosmetic. We actually save this position, but we not really use this because the character will most likely be in idle. So this position, yeah, just place it anywhere, it won't really matter. And what will matter is the position of this guy's hand. Okay, so basically this is where it's going to aim. Of course we have a rifle sticking from his instance. So let's put this is the holster. It's parented under the weapon or a helper for the bone we have set from the weapon instance. And let's place it like this. Okay, it's just going to save this position, and so that it knows when we are going into the game and where to place it. Of course, yeah, I should probably just change a little bit the scale. Okay, I'm going to let you play with this because it just might take a lot of time. And yeah, okay, we have set this guy up. There's also one thing we need to set, and let's make sure, yeah, the bullet spawner, it doesn't matter if it's inside the, you can see the bullet spawner over here. Okay, it can be inside the barrel, it can be back here, it doesn't matter since there's now really something that can get it in the way, but if you want to be that precise. And we also have, because there is an FPS mode, okay, you can click the FPS camera and it's going to get the camera you see over here, and it's going to place it wherever this little cube is. This is the camera, which is inside the IK shoulder helper FPS camera placer. Okay, it's going to place your camera wherever this is. Now let's place it somewhere like this. What you need to, just to sell the whole illusion is click FPS camera. Okay, just make sure that it's kinda on, the main camera, the iron sights with the main camera, they are looking towards the center. Okay, in script you can actually see this one over here. Through the script, of course, you should raise this so it doesn't clip. So as I was saying, with the script, we basically, how we see where we shoot, we get the center of the camera and we draw a line from this position towards the center of the camera, or where the center of the camera falls. Okay, and we shoot like that. So the player won't be able to notice, of course. Okay, but just make sure that it just at least makes sense if he's aiming from iron sights. Now, of course, we have a clipping head from over here, and that's why basically you can remove this, or not remove this. You can disable them if they are getting too annoying. Okay, but when you're saving the weapon, it's best to have everything open on your model, and that's why I haven't made a system to make this automatically. Through the script, we are doing this everything automatically. We disable the character model, as you probably already seen. Okay, so there's no need to worry about that. Just make sure the FPS camera is placed on the correct position. So what I need to do right now is hit init weapon on secondary, and you will see that it automatically takes the position from this guy for the right hand and places it on the other guy. Now of course I forgot to create secondary AK, so let's click that again, and you can see that it creates the secondary AKs for him. And we're only focusing with the left hand, and let's place it somewhere like this. Let's turn this into local so that it's a little bit easier. Okay, let's rotate it like this. Okay, this is super intuitive. You can do everything you want with this. You can do a lot of stuff, and there's also a lot of levels you can do with this. So if you want to go in and add modifications, which we're going to see on a later video, okay, then we can of course do it. Now of course you can see that there's a little bit of clipping over here. What you can do is the right hand doesn't do anything for him, is you can simply fix the position from this guy. You know, you can also rotate this, but then of course we will have to rotate the right hand also, not this right hand. Let's rotate it more. Okay, of course this is way more faster than the previous way we had the weapon system. Okay, it's super easier also, and you will also have to, you know, you will only have to worry about creating a new the new rifles or the new weapons without having to worry with the AKs and stuff like that. And we will see again on another weapon. Okay, we have our weapon. Let's re-init on the secondary. You can see that it places automatically again. I think the left hand is should need a little bit of more attachment. Let's place it like this, and we are ready. Hit save weapon, and we have a new game object which is called M4, and it just takes the name you have on the ID and you place it over here. Now I'm going to name this M4G so that, you know, we can separate this, and we can go on the prefabs, and we can go on the weapons, and we need to make this a prefab and have it like this. Okay, you can see the other ones I have and the other weapons. We're only going to focus with M4G. Let's save, and let's go back into our scene, and let's go start here, and let's drop the dependencies, resources manager. And since we've added a new character, we need to create a new instance for our character list. We have Boxman. Let's name this something, and let's put the rig ID to G. It doesn't matter. We need to change the prefab, so we're going to just drop the gorilla guy or guerrilla or whatever. Okay, you can see that I've already have instances for M4. So let's do this from scratch. Let's add one more. Okay, it just takes the previous one, so we still have M4. I'm going to change the rig to G, and I'm going to change the prefab to the new one we created, which is prefabs weapons M4G. Okay, we're going to save. However, and yeah, we're going to remove the scene, and we're going to go to Decision Master. Now, because we have two weapons and we are hard coding the values for the secondary weapon, and there's no secondary is weapon for the character right now, I'm going to use the debug value, and for the secondary weapon I'm just going to say M4. You will see what this will do. And I'm going to save, hit play. Okay, this is the default character you have on your profile, and if I go to the profile you can see I have all the characters I can select. I can change my name, of course, and if I select another character default, you can see the Boxman, and you can see the Gorilla. So what this basically did, all three of these characters, okay, this one is the same character, it just doesn't have a cap. All of these have a different rig, but they also work because we have saved them. We have saved different settings for each rig. Okay, let's select the Gorilla guy. Let's hit back, and let's now hit campaign and new game. Okay, artificial loading, and you can see that we are inside the game. We can aim, we can of course move, everything else we play. Okay, the camera might need a little bit more adjustment because the characters were all in a different scale. Okay, everything will work. Now you can see that when I shoot, it only plays the particles. It doesn't do any recoil. There's no animation, or I think this actually is animation. And now it has the previous stuff it had from the previous, because we basically reused the model prefab for the other guys. So I'm going to go into M4. I'm going to go to M4 pivot, or better yet, let's do this super fast for the second character, but let's try it on a completely new weapon. Okay, something that we didn't have before. So let's go fast, weapon creator. Let's say that this is complete, so we want to add a new weapon. I'm going to go, let's see what weapons. Yeah, I have one, so I'm going to call this KA. Okay, model prefab, I want to change, and I'm going to put this weapon. Okay, you can see that it has the scale wrong, it has different stuff. We're going to take this, drop it over here, hit init weapon, and we are like this. I'm going to rotate it, scale it up, obviously, and I'm going to put this somewhere that looks at least something decent. At least decent. Of course we can change the scale even more. This might be a little bit too much. Okay, now because this model had a different scale and stuff like that, what I want to do is take this, make this a prefab, drop it over here. Okay, and I'm going to go back in the weapon creator, take this, drop it on the model prefab, and hit init weapon again. And yeah, that didn't work because we changed something. Let's hit init weapon again, and we have the model with the correct scale. Okay, and you can see that it's the clone. Okay, let's say this is good enough. So I'm going to let's rotate this also so it doesn't stick out of his body. Let's put it something like this. Weapon creator. We can adjust this a little bit back, I guess, or yeah, I guess we should place it in a little bit better position. You can see it like this. Okay, the system is for you to make something more intuitive than, so you can adjust it to cater to your needs, so you are not restricted into positions. into limitations. Okay, place it like this. Init weapon on secondary. Let's see if this is a little bit. Okay, I think this is good enough. Okay. Yeah, it looks a little bit smaller than it is. So just in case I have forgot to do that from script, I'm going to take this, and I think I haven't. Yeah, so they are the same scale. Obviously you can change the scale. I won't, because I want this to do it fast. Okay, we have the hand, weapon creator, save weapon, KA. Okay, and let's drop this and make this a prefab. Weapons, KA, save. That's it, and it took less than 3 minutes. Now, of course, we need to change a little things, some more dependencies, resource manager, and let's go and duplicate this array, and let's add this. Let's say this is KA. Now we're going to hack. I think, yeah, if we hit play, we're going to get an error, because if we start with any of the other characters, yeah, we do not get an error because it's still the M4. But if we change the main weapon to KA, you can see that we're going to get an error because the other characters cannot find a weapon with the same rig and the same name type. Okay, but if we go to profile and Guerrilla, you can see that, yeah, because of the error, none of this works. So what I'm going to do is go to dependencies, resource manager, and I'm going to duplicate this and duplicate once again. Of course, I'm over exaggerating with the rigs. As I said, you should just keep one rig. I'm just doing it to avoid the error right now. Okay, but if this was an actual game and a final game, I said again, all your characters will have the same rig, or at least really close to each other, a rig that really isn't that much different. Okay, obviously because it loads. Yeah, and what we also forgot is to assign, we still have the M4G. We need to assign the KA. Okay, you only have to assign this on one if you have one rig. And let's remove the scene and hit play. Okay, you can see that it has the weapon because the values are wrong. You can see that his hands are like that. However, if we go to the correct character, because the values are correct for this guy, then for this rig, then they work correct. Let's hit back, and it has saved the profile, and let's hit campaign, new game. Now you can see that it doesn't exactly suit. It suits because there is recoil on the camera, but what it doesn't do is it doesn't play any it doesn't play any particles, it doesn't have any animation, it doesn't have any recoil. So what we can do at this case, we can take the prefab we have over here, drop it into a scene, have it somewhere like this, and I don't know if this has actually different receiver part. It does. Yeah, so we can also animate this one. Alright, now let's get one of the other weapons I have, because I want the particles, in this case, which this doesn't have any. Yeah, doesn't have any. it's these weapon models. And for pivot, okay, I'm going to take all this, drop them under this guy. Let's delete this, we don't need it anymore. Let's place the particles somewhere they are useful. Okay, you can see that the cells should be over here. Obviously you can set this up more nicely, and let's just place it like this. This should be towards the receiver, I guess. Okay, we have set this one up, and we can say we have a weapon model hook. So what this does, it has stuff that needs to work with your weapon. So anything that is specialized towards your weapon, you can assign this to over here. For example, string folder, we have if you have audio effects, you will simply need to write the name of your audio effects, which you have it on your resources manager, and it will go and play it. Okay, magazine prefab, weapon ID, you can see the weapon ID of course is assigned manually. And let's compare it with this guy, which has these values populated basically. So we have magazine prefab, magazine item ID, the magazine object on the character hands, which is the ID that in turn is going to go and find it on the resources manager. It's going to create it under your character model's hands, and it's going to enable and disable it when we are calling it from the script. But we do not need anything over here. We do not need anything on the magazine prefab into our new weapon. We can assign the magazine on weapon. In this case, it should be this guy. So let's take this and assign it. Let's see what else we can take. Yeah, I think it's just enough with this. We have an animator, so that means we can simply go to animation. Let's create a new animation. Assets, art, animation, weapons, no weapons, I want weapon models. Let's create a new folder. Obviously first it's going to be the idle, but before we add the idle, we're going to create one that's going to call shoot or open, or one of the. And for shoot, you can see that we are actually recording, so I'm going to find the rig. This is the magazine. Cell eject. Yeah, cell eject. We can take it a little bit backwards, if you want to mutilate your character. Okay, I don't know, something like that. Let's take this and let's place it once again somewhere. Let's just place it on one. And I'm doing this because Unity has a habit of it doesn't like one frame animations. Okay, and I think that is enough. Let's go to the idle, and what I'm going to do, or a trick for how you can set the idle, instead of going into add property and looking through all of this, you can simply go into your bone over here, copy component, move it around, paste component values, and you are back again. Control C, Control V, and you are over here. Okay, and you have now a new animator on your actual weapon. Of course, we need to set this up, and the parameter will be shoot. And actually, I'm going to just duplicate one of these, throw it on this. Yeah, I'm going to delete this one, and I'm going to call this one KA, because it has already the transitions and stuff like that everything is already ready, and I'm going to replace the two animations. And of course, because we did that, okay, we need to reassign again the animator, and we are ready. Delete this, apply the prefab. Because it was the prefab we had on our model, if we delete this, save, hit play, okay, you can see it loads the previous character we had. Campaign, new game. Okay, just like that. It was so easy to change. Now, what we haven't yet changed is that there is no recoil on. Yeah, there's no recoil on the weapon. Let's fix that. Let's go into our prefabs for the actual, not the weapon model, what we have saved for our guy. If we open weapon stats, of course we can change magazine bullets, maximum carry bullets, camera handling. The FPS camera offset is also assigned over here if you wanted to do slight changes. Okay, the fire rate, the camera recoil, so how much recoil it does on the camera. The aim pivot offset, you can see that there's no offset. This updates from this, and it has to do with the angle compensation, which when you are aiming up, he lowers his guns, he lowers his hands, so the weapon doesn't go directly into his face. Okay. Recoil Y is, as you can imagine, the Y value you're getting on the procedural recoil system. You can see that it's very slightly, or it's very small, because we only want a small movement. Recoil Z is how much back it's going to go, and I think this kind of, you can see that how low this is. If this is 0, 0, this is minus 0.5. And the angular X is, the tilt of the weapon, and I think this value works just fine. Okay, because we are doing changes directly on the prefab, we do not have to do anything. Hit play, campaign, new game. Let's hit, and I think we missed something. Yeah, we were doing it on the wrong weapon. This is the weapon we need to change. KA, back. Okay, this. You can see that if I put something else, something extreme in this case, let's see the correct first, and then let's change it. Okay, campaign, new game. You can see that his hands move around procedurally based on the curve values we've set. Okay, and if you go to the FPS mode, you can see this. Of course, the camera needs a little bit adjustment, obviously. Okay, it just plays the reload animation, the stock one we have. Okay, so if I change the recoil Y to something else, let's go with something extreme, and prepare to laugh. Okay, so you can imagine you can do a lot of stuff with this. So that's pretty much it, I think. So this is how you set up your weapon. You can see that there were a lot of steps that aren't really needed, but if you want to just tailor it and just create even more, polish it even more and even more and even more, it's just so easy to do. If I wasn't actually narrating and saying how to do this stuff, then I would have just did it in like 5 or 10 minutes, and even less, probably 2 or 3 minutes. Okay, of course there is a lot of tailoring you can do. You can hardcode any values, you can set the values to something unique. The camera recoil, of course, camera handling, and all stuff like that. What you can also do, as you have seen on the other models, and I'm going to undebug the values, and let's hit play. I'm going to go into profile, and I think we also need to remove this. And yeah, right now it takes the profile from over here, so I'm just going to delete this. Let's hit play. Okay, you have your main character, or the character, any character you want. If we hit new game, I'm going to try and reload and pause at the same time. So if we go over here, you can see that what happens. You can see on his left hand it has the other magazine. It taps the other, or let's say it does. Okay, it taps the other magazine and it flies away. This has a rigid body, it has a random value on top of it. Okay, and then the animation. When I was making this animation, it was on an AK, so yeah, that is why it's a bit off. Okay, all that is controlled by your actual weapon. If you do not add anything on your weapon there, then what's going to happen is, let's hit play. Let's take this guy, back, campaign, new game. Okay, if I reload now, of course nothing happens because there is no magazine on. We haven't set a magazine on the left hand, and there is also no prefab for this magazine, that it flies away. Okay. But because we have assigned on our model hook the magazine that is under the rifle, then it just gets disabled. When it's time to re-enable it, it will come back and re-enable it, and it will be at the correct position. Okay, of course you can, if you have other animations, you can create weapons with their own dedicated animations, and how you will set that up is from the weapon model hook, or you can actually do it directly on your actual model, your actual weapon model. Okay, simple enough. Now let's see how we can actually set this up. What we need first is, let's go to the prefabs, let's go to the items, and you can see this is an item instance. We don't want this yet. We want models, we want extras. Let's take one of these, which is the game object that has a box collider and a rigid body. I'm going to duplicate this, delete this, although I guess that didn't do anything. And I'm going to go to art, models, let's find another weapon, let's drop this one in. Oops. And because this one has an animator, I'm going to delete the animator, remove the magazine, delete this. Okay, we have a game object which is our magazine basically. Let's make this into a prefab so that we have it, just a model. Yeah, this won't work. You can see that why this won't work, because it has a skin mesh renderer. So I'm going to try and put a mesh renderer, mesh filter, mesh renderer. Let's find one material from over here, it won't matter. Okay, and of course we need to assign the mesh. And let's open this. It should be this. Oops, it should be this. Okay, and we have our magazine. Of course the pivot is a little bit off. So what I'm going to do with this is, well, the pivot, yeah, I think we care a little, or yeah, we do not actually care about the pivot. Let's just add a rigid body over here. Let's just create a game object. We can say that we do not even need this anymore. This is a game object that has a collider. Let's place it over here, set it like this. Okay, it doesn't matter, the rigid body is over here and the collider is over here, since we only care about the collider. Okay, it's that simple. We have an item, yeah, we have an item for the magazine that we throw away. Let's make this into a prefab again, because it has you know, the rigid body and the collider. So delete this. Let's go to the scenes, dependencies, resource manager, and this time we're going to go to the object pool. Let's add one more. It's called M4 magazine, so I'm going to call this KA magazine. The magazine, let's call it mag. And of course I need to set this one up also. I need to set the prefab to this. The budget is for the object pool. Okay, let's just leave it at 4 at this point. We won't care. Now, how we hook this to the actual model? Well, it's pretty simple. Let's go to the KA. Not KA, we want the prefab for this that has the weapon model hook. Okay, magazine prefab, KA mag. It's saved because it's directly on the prefab. Remove the scene, play, campaign, new game, and if everything is correct, when we reload, you can see that there is, yeah, of course the scale might need a little bit of adjustment, and that has to do with the rifle too, but you can see that just like that we have set up the prefab from the magazine so that it throws away. And because it's object pool, after, and we have the budget of 4, then that means the 6th magazine, because I forgot to add 1 somewhere. Okay, then that means that it will take it's the nature of the object pool. Okay, it takes one of the other object pools and place it where you want the other one to be. Okay, let's add the magazine. Finally, the magazine that has to do with the left hand of the weapon. And to do that, we're going to go into the dedicated extras creator scene. You can see that I have a different model over here, so I'm just going to go find the correct model. I'm going to load the model, and we do not want this. Item instance, I'm going to call this magazine. I want the bone to be parented under is of course the left hand, and I'm going to change the model prefab to, we haven't yet created that model prefab, so I'm going to take one of these. Let's call this game magazine item, and we do not want either a rigid body, or can actually just delete this. Let's make this also prefab though. Okay, magazine item. Okay, it's this. And let's place the magazine over here. Create item. It creates automatically a left hand helper, and we have our item over here. We can scale this around. Let's leave it like that because it's funny, and you can definitely see when this is enabled or disabled in game. Okay, obviously you can set this up to whatever you want, it won't matter. Okay, place it wherever you want, it doesn't matter, and then simply click save item. Item saved, as it says over here, as it says in the instructions, make a prefab of it, and the prefab you want to make this, it's of this. You can see that it saves, and I think there's a little bit of, yeah, for some reason it didn't save the actual prefab, but we can fix that. It's nothing. Oh no, I think it actually did. It didn't. So let's just take that and where was it? It's this one. Yeah, you won't have to worry about it. So I'm just going to take this, assign it. Okay, and we can go. We do not have to do anything with the extras creator scene. So I'm going to go the scenes, start here again. Let's go now again to the prefab, to the actual weapon model, to our weapon model hook, and where is it? Yeah, let's find it from this. You can of course be a little bit more organized than I am. Of course I'm going to clean this project a bit too. And okay, you have magazine on weapon, magazine prefab, and here's what we need. And we're going to write over here KA magazine item. So that means whenever it's going to initialize, it's going to go and find that object. Of course, to find that object, then that means we need to place it on the dependency scene, resources manager. This time we're going to go on the item prefabs, size 3. We're going to add one more. We need to change the rig to whatever the others have. Okay, so we have G. Change this to K mag item, and is this it? It's not this, so this is wrong actually. This will be in here, and this will be in here, I think. Magazine item, and I think I cannot put it somewhere else. Move on extras. Sneaky. Okay, we have all our items in one place now. So on resource manager, we're going to replace the previous one and assign it with the new. Save, remove the scene, play. If I switch to another player now that doesn't have the item but has the weapon assigned, but yeah, as I said, doesn't have the item on his hand, then when we're going to reload, you're going to get an error because it searches for the item. It searches based on the item's name and the rig's name, and if it doesn't find anything, then that means it's an error. So campaign, new game, sudo once, and you can see that you have your oversized patriotic magazine. It pops the other one out of place. You can see the prefab. It's going to assign it back, and voila, you're done. Okay, so what this gets us with is a weapon system that is so much modifiable, and you can not only modify it for at start, you can, you know, one day go and fix the weapon position, and the other day, you know, when you are more relaxed and you're feeling more creative, and go add everything else you want to add on top of it. And of course, this is a pretty modular system. There is a lot of stuff you can do with this. There is an incredible amount with this. We haven't yet even covered, I haven't even finished yet the stuff I want to add on top of this, and we're going to create a few more utilities to create nice stuff. So the idea behind it is, let me go and you know, fix a little bit this project. I'm going to go and delete the profile. Yeah, or I need to get out of Unity and come back. Let's create. Anyway, okay, the whole idea with this is that we have our weapon, we have the instance of our weapon based on what we have created on our weapon creator, and on any level we can come over here and change stuff to it. So for example, we can create a new script over here, which we're going to see later on, okay, because it needs a little bit time to be developed, and we can change any variable we see both over here and both on to our weapon manager into our weapon reference. So you can add a modification, for example, that changes, you know, that gives you more magazine bullets, or you can carry more, or you have more turn speed. You can even override the IK positions. So if you have a different foregrip, or you are adding a foregrip into your weapon, then you also have the position for the foregrip. You can also rotate the weapon to where he aims. So if you have a sight on the side or on the rail, or if you have 5 scopes on top of your rail, all that is now feasible without having to worry about how we set that up and, you know, what we need to do. That's why we have created the whole utilities you see over here, and we're going to create a few more. So that's it. I know it might be a little bit confusing at first, but again, if we have to recreate the weapon, and if you only have one character, then it's easy. And what you can also do, let's say it doesn't matter, on weapon creator, okay, if I go on my weapon creator, select another character, I can actually load the previous weapon I did. So if I go into my prefabs, weapons, and if I, let's say I want to take the AKM instance to load, I'm going to place it like that, load weapon, and yeah, I actually need to place the model first. Let's move this around. And not init weapon, not save weapon. I will create main AK, create secondary AK, and then load weapon. Let's make sure this updates. And I've actually might load the wrong one. Yeah, I think I've just forgot to update this one. Okay, weapon creator, init weapon on secondary, or I thought it was secondary. yeah, anyway, I'm going to fix this before release, so do not worry. We're going to have this also ready. So it's very robust system. You can do a lot of stuff, a lot of cool stuff with this, and obviously it's way more intuitive than having especially compared to the previous system we had, okay, where we had to go in and out of play mode so many times just to adjust one hand. Okay, we can do this all right now live, and we fix one guy. Let's read weapon secondary. Now we will have to readjust this also. And because there's also this modularity, is that you can send it to somebody, change something on it, and he will be able to send it back to you, and it will have everything. Okay, so I'm not going to drag this anymore. As I said, you can do so many stuff with this. Let's hit save. Notice that I can just keep, okay, I can have 50 instances of this. It doesn't matter. We can just keep them up as backups, just in case we want to change something. And let's see if this will work. Yeah, probably I need to readjust a little bit the left hand, but yeah, no biggie. Okay, you can keep backups over here. It's very intuitive. I think you won't really have if you start to get a little bit how the idea it is and how you can work with steps, then it's really super easy to work with, especially if you compare it with everything else we have done before, or other systems. It's super intuitive, it's very powerful, and I think you're going to have a lot of fun with this, since I know I did have a lot of fun creating all this. So I'll see you on the next video.